Hi everyone, this is Arcadius and welcome back to Naval Creed. Today we'll be reviewing the next and final event ship for the current event that is ongoing. That is the Italian cruiser Garibaldi, or if I has slightly renamed her G. Garibaldi, short for Giuseppe Garibaldi. Now this ship is actually one of the better event ships, if not the best event ship. She's really good, and she does stand out. She's not just a copy paste like something as Rhineland, H41, or something like Canada, which is pretty much just a battle cruiser version of Iron Duke. She stands out all on her own as an actual really decent cruiser. Now, she may not seem like much when you take a look at her stats and her armament, but when she's actually in gameplay, she's really influential. So let's take a look to see what we have. We have 39,800 health. We have 16% torpedo damage resistance. Armor, belt of about 4 inches, maximum of about just over 5, maybe about 5.6, I think. That looks to be on the turret faces. So your armor is not all that strong, and you will be very easily citadeled. You are a light cruiser though, so do keep that in mind. We have 3 fighters. You can see here you actually do have a catapult for this one as well. Pretty okay fighters. I mean, there's nothing too special about them. Guns, we have 6-inch guns arranged in an interesting layout of a twin 6-inch gun super firing a triple, and that is copied on the other side. So just like Andre Doria, she has 10 guns. These shoot out 8 rounds a minute. Pretty decent fire chance and armor piercing damage, and the velocities for these shells are really good. 944 meters per second for HE and 910 for armor piercing. You can shoot out to 16.4 kilometers with your main guns, and your secondary shoot out to 5.5 kilometers. So you have a couple, I believe, 4-inch guns as secondaries. I don't really know. I do know that the Italians were a fan of 120 mils. So maybe that's what they are instead. Who knows? Regardless, we also have a triple torpedo launcher on each side with really good angles, like Russian cruiser angles, which makes sense because Russian cruisers and Italian cruisers historically were very similar. These torpedoes go out to 10 kilometers, do 60 knots, have a fast rate of fire of 1 round every minute, detectability range of 1.2 kilometers. These are really stealthy torps. And flood chance is pretty decent, 127.46%, and max damage of 14.4k damage. Honestly, these torpedoes are more of a slight deterrence than anything offensively, and they can even be used as just rushing tactic, but you don't really want to be too close with your ship. You might be a light cruiser and fast, but you have a lot of freeboard, and that's a lot of citadel you can hit. Let's actually take a look at the citadel here. Yeah, so all of this is above the water, and that's all citadel. So you're pretty much easy to shoot. So anywhere from A turret to D turret or Y turret, however you want to say it, that's all citadel. And then speed, 34.5 knots. She's a very quick ship as well. So she has the speed of a Japanese cruiser. She has the handling of an American. Well, she's just a really good balanced cruiser, and I enjoy her gameplay very much. Let's see here, anti-aircraft defense. You do have an anti-air defensive consumable, but your damages aren't all that exciting. But it's not terrible either. I could definitely see her being a somewhat good anti-air defense ship. There is going to be better ships at this tier for that, such as Prince Eugen and Cleveland, but she's not too bad. She can hold her own. So with that, let's toss her into a game and see what we can do. Alright, here ourselves a game. We have 3 battleships, a ton of cruisers, and 1 little Benson at the bottom. This ship is a really good cruiser killer. Let me tell you, with her fast firing, well, maybe not the fastest firing guns, but really fast shell velocity on her guns, coupled with really good armor piercing and 10 shells to a broadside. you can definitely do a ton of damage. Also, torpedo angles. Look at how good these angles are. These are to die for. These are really, really good. If they're Russian, they'd probably be something like this, but I'm definitely not disappointed. Gun angles. Let's see, something like that. I would expect you to bounce quite a few shells, actually, at that angle, even with only 4 inches of armor, but that does not mean you're invulnerable. You kind of want to dodge any kind of shell that's tossed your way, because I'm pretty sure even destroyers, or their 5-inch guns, if you give them broadside and they shoot armor piercing, probably could citadel you, honestly. And that's something I do enjoy doing with my own destroyers if they get close enough, because it's not expected, honestly, to have a destroyer shoot armor piercing because of their small caliber guns. But then again, if you're that close, you might as well, and you can do like 7,000 damage depending on what kind of ship you're using. Alright, so with all my speed buffs and everything applied, I am going 39 knots in a cruiser. And I have 52,700 health. So I do have a little bit of an advantage when it comes to playing, but I mean, it's all ornaments and captain skills. I do have my captain fully spec'd for all the skills that I want. Look at that, double fire right off the bat. There are still skills I can earn, but all the ones that I really wanted, I have. I did splurge a bit with my free XP. I spent like 5 million free XP just to get all the skills. But it does work out because I have a very fun ship now. So she's fully concealed, the guns are really accurate, they reload fast, I accelerate as fast as possible, my concealment's down. It's everything you could possibly think of. AA range, secondary range, torpedo dodging. Alright, cool. So we're about to finish off this Benson. We're going to switch back to armor piercing, and we're going to start taking out some of these cruisers now. Alright, so Belfast is giving us a little bit of an angle, but not enough for citadels yet, unfortunately. Remember, you still only have 6-inch guns, but that doesn't quite matter when you're continuously launching them. Though at that angle, they're going to ricochet. So we're going to switch targets a second and try and take out this Kitakami. Though we are taking a little bit of damage ourselves, let's focus our secondaries on the Belfast. Not that I really think they're going to do much, but every little bit helps. Let's see, can we dodge this torque? I think so. Full rudder maneuverability. And let's hopefully dodge any Kitakami torpedoes, because those would definitely be bad. We ended up sinking the Belfast while shooting the Kitakami. Is there a Massachusetts right there? And a Vanguard. Alright, well let's see. Vanguard. Well, let's just top some torpedoes out in that general direction. As you can see, your armor is quite squishy. I'm still being torn apart, even at this kind of angle. And I'm just speeding away as quickly as possible. You do excel at range, I would say. So trying to keep your range is pretty good, but you can also close in. You just might not be as effective. Yeah, so armor piercing is going to ricochet, but I'm expecting this Kitakami to turn, and we did actually get a torpedo hit. I'm not quite sure on what yet. There's Kitakami torpedoes, so it's a good thing we turned. We're just going to switch to high explosive at this point, I think. Alright, so there's some good damage and a fire. Let's see, Massachusetts is back in torpedo range. Let's toss some more her way. I think we're going to get a good broadside on Wichita, so let's switch over to armor piercing again. Not that I'm really expecting any citadels. You have 4 heals, so you have the same amount of heals as Prince Eugen, so that definitely makes you very strong as the amount of health you can regenerate. And we actually did get a Citadel on the top. Ooh, but that's a Turbits. Ooh, didn't see you there. Yep, I'm gonna turn around now. With my good rudder maneuverability, though, that doesn't take very long. Are you actually moving, or are you gonna run aground again? I think you're actually moving. And you're doing a ton of damage while you're doing so. Alright, so high explosive is still loaded. But we got another fire on the Vanguard. We're gonna put our fire out on our ship and retreat to a safer distance and try and recuperate some of our health. Looks like only one torpedo hit, but it did cause a flooding. Are you permanently flooding? Let's see. You are, so that's a perma-flood, so that'll help us definitely. And we have a good broadside on this Massachusetts. Ooh, that Tirpitz really wants to come play. So we're going to be under another secondary spam here in a second. There we go. Let's hope we can get our heal on quickly. Or put her down with torpedoes. Alright, so our heal is going to be up momentarily. That will keep us alive, and I think... Oh, just kidding. We're going to get destroyed. Can we get some torpedo hits? Only one. Are you flooding again? I don't think so. So, yeah, this is a pretty decent indication of the armor on the ship. You don't want to be anywhere close, but you're also not terrible close because you have the rate of fire and the amount of damage you can dish out to do a ton of damage. But your guns are really, really good at long range, and your high explosive, though not perfect or the best, is still pretty decent. I actually think Tirpitz is flooding. Do we get a kill? Yes. Alright, cool. We got a kill still. So yeah, good armor piercing for cruisers, and to an extent battleships. You have good high explosive for destroyers and spamming battleships and carriers. And your torpedoes, though you only have 3 per side, they do go out to 10 kilometers, which is pretty decent. And they might not be expected at that kind of range. And they could also be good for area denial, since they reload very quickly and you have really good angles. And it could also be good for kiting as well. And you have good speed to get into and out of sticky situations. And then your AA, there's not really a good chance to show the AA in this game, but we were still able to shoot down, looks like 4 aircraft, and we didn't even use any of our fighters. Survivability wise, your armor's trash, but you have 4 heals to make up for that. So if you play better than I did in this game, and you actually are able to survive and use all 4 of your heals, you can survive quite a bit of punishment. But you are a very squishy target, and you kind of want to stay away from battleships as much as possible. So my main mistake in this game was rounding that corner when I only thought there was a Massachusetts and a Vanguard there. I didn't see the Tirpitz. So as soon as I saw that, I tried to get away, but by that point it was too late. Regardless though, I'm still pretty satisfied with this game. It should be over soon enough. We're just cleaning up the last 2 battleships. Looks like Vanguard, yep, took a torpedo. But this tornado is definitely going to go down, I feel. But yeah, she's a really fun ship. I do think she's one of the better event ships. There's been some questionable ships in the past that really make you wonder why you would want to grind all the event levels for a ship like that. But this is actually one that I think is pretty decent. There's not much time left in the event, if I remember correctly. It goes till next Wednesday, so you only have a few days left. So if you really think you want this ship, then do what you can to grind for it, because if you've ever played earlier events, once the event's done, there's no way to get the ship again. So if you think you'd like it, then do what you can to get it. If not, well, give it your best shot. Canada is a pretty easy ship to earn in this event. Though I don't really, I mean, she's okay, but nothing I would say is extremely good. And so we're just watching the massacre of this Massachusetts in a moment. I think it will take some time, considering all the cruisers, bot cruisers, just fire high explosive. If Kitsakami can get some good torpedoes on her, then that'll be the end of her. We shall see. All in all, my final opinion on this event is that it was actually really, really fun. I did enjoy it. I didn't play too often. I got the 2 event ships right off the bat within the first week or so. And then after that, I just went back to grinding normal ships and free XP and such. But if I were to choose my top favorite event, this might be it. It's pretty straightforward. There's nothing like the H-45 super battleship. There's nothing like the Kraken with the tentacles. Though I do enjoy the Habakkuk event. I mean, aircraft are really overpowered in that event, as well as all the other ships. But this one was pretty fun. I did enjoy it. Alright, so we finished the game with 211,000 damage. 4 ships were sunk, 229 shell hits, 3 torpedo hits, 4 aircraft shot down, 3 citadels, 6 fires, 3 floodings, 1 assisted cap, 2 defended caps, and 44 secondary hits for 7,700 base XP. She's not a free XP ship, so you cannot grind free XP with her very easily. 108,000 damage in shells, 33,600 of that being high explosive, 75,000 in armor piercing. Fires and floodings did 63.7 thousand damage, so 30,000 from the flooding and 33,000 from fires. So really good flooding damage actually for this kind of game. We don't really see flooding damage because all the bots just immediately repair any kind of flooding. So it's nice to see that once in a while. Secondary battery did actually over 2,000 damage, and then torpedoes did 37,000 damage. So between, what was it, high explosive shells, floodings, fires, and torpedoes, it was all about 30 to 37,000 damage. So pretty equal there, and then armor piercing did 74,000. So yeah, you can kind of see the damage split. This ship is actually a really, really fun ship, and like I said, if you don't already have her, I'd recommend doing what you can to actually get her. I'm not saying you have to go and buy the point packs, whatever like that, unless you really, really want to. But she's definitely a worthy ship, and might even be a good arena ship, though her armor quality makes me question that. But we'll have to see. So with that, I will wrap up today's video. If you liked the video, make sure you like and subscribe, and join me tomorrow while we finally go over the first video on Victorious. Now, she's been out for quite some time, but between my break and all the changes that they made to her, I wanted everything to settle down into her final form before we went over her, and I think they're about done with that. So we'll see how she plays. So again, thank you, and take care.